So thank you for joining us today. We are in our third webinar in the SSIP Planning and Action series. And today we're going to look at the screening and assessment and related factors broad strategy that goes along with our SSIP in improving outcomes for children and families related to social emotional development. So today, are you seeing my screen? Oh, there we go. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulty with internet, so I think things are a little behind. But today I'm joined by Sarah Moore and Talisha Woodfin, and I'm just going to give them a chance to introduce themselves. Sarah?
Yes, my name is Sarah Moore. I'm a monitoring consultant with the Infant and Toddler Connection of Virginia, and I work with the South Central and Southwest regions.
And Talisha?
Hello, everybody. I'm Talisha Woodfin. I'm a monitoring consultant with the Infant and Toddler Connection of Virginia, and I work with the Richmond and Tidewater regions.
Great. Thank you both for being here. And I'm Ann Brager. I'm a technical assistant consultant with Southwest and South Central regions of the state. So I'm going to go ahead and toss it over to Sarah, who's going to refresh us on what our state identified measurable result, our SIMR, is, and what our broad strategy is to address social emotional skills and supports to families. So Sarah?
Thank you, Anne. Broad improvement strategy number 1 is to identify and implement initial and ongoing eligibility determination and assessment for service planning practices related to social emotional development that will effectively inform eligibility decisions, the child outcome summary process, IFSP development, and service delivery. The work group for social emotional screening and assessment for young children and the work group for screening and assessment for related factors fall under this strategy. Next slide, please, Anne. Our state identified measurable result is increasing the percentage of infants and toddlers who substantially increase their rate of growth in the area of positive social emotional skills, including social relationships, by the time they exit early intervention. Broad improvement strategy number 1 addresses the SIMR by meeting the following objectives. All children will receive supports and services necessary to develop and maintain positive social emotional skills and social relationships. And also caregivers will receive support, information, and/or referrals as needed to promote their own well-being and the ability to meet their child's social emotional needs. Next slide, please, Anne. The work underway for broad improvement strategy number 1 fits very nicely with current early intervention practices in Virginia. Screenings are conducted for all children at intake, and if they are found eligible, children proceed to assessment for service planning using a comprehensive assessment tool. Currently, local systems routinely use specialized screening or assessment tools to address concerns with a specific area of development to inform IFSP development and service delivery. These might be tools related to speech and language, or gross motor skills, or fine motor skills. Also, information from numerous sources, including screening and assessment tools, observation and parent report, is used to establish eligibility, identify strengths and needs, and inform IFSP development. And now Anne will tell us a little bit more about the work underway with the work group for screening and assessment for young children.
So as Sarah alluded, we currently have 2 work groups working on this strategy around assessment. One that's addressing tools specific to the social emotional needs of young children, and one that's looking at related factors such as parental depression, trauma, anxiety, and temperament, just to name a few. So the work group that's working on screening and assessment, the tools specific to children, consists of 12 members from around the state, from various roles and disciplines. We're very fortunate that we have a strong infant mental health representation on our team. And so one of the driving forces behind this broad improvement strategy is, we all know that the comprehensive assessment tools and, our screening tools, especially like when you look at the ELAP, as far as our assessment tools, the ELAP, the HELP, for example, they're really under identifying children with social emotional needs. So we are, that's one of the main goals of this group, is to help identify tools that will lead us to pick up children earlier than we may be, or to identify those we might be missing. So the work group has spent the last year extensively reviewing screening and assessment tools, and with the goal to, as I said, identify children who might need support at various stages of the IFSP development, including eligibility, assessment for service planning, child outcome summary process, IFSP development, especially around goals specific to social emotional development, and maybe those related factors that Talisha is going to talk about here in a second, and service delivery. So, Talisha, I'm going to toss it to you.
Thank you so much, Anne.
Talk about those related factors.
Absolutely. So, good afternoon, everyone. Lisa, Terry, and I are actually co-facilitating the related factors work group. And we are also looking at broad improvement strategy 1, as was mentioned earlier. This work group is exploring screening and assessment methods for identifying other factors that can impact social and emotional, such as attachment, autism, behavior, environmental safety and stability, family mapping, and other things, with the goal of creating a toolkit that practitioners can pull from for screening and assessment. As we review these tools, the work group is considering a number of things to include cost, who can administer, cultural differences, cultural sensitivity, ease of use, age ranges, the tool covers, training required to use the tool, bias, and so much more. Notes from the work group meetings is available at the ITC website, but also feel free to have any questions.
Well, and Talisha, thank you for bringing up the whole, some of the things that the groups are looking at, especially around cost and time for administration and cultural sensitivity, because that is a huge component of what both groups are focusing on. We want to be able to not, find those, no assessment tool is perfect, but we want to find best matches for the family's dynamics and makeup. So thank you so much for bringing that up. In order to, just a reminder, there's many ways you can stay informed about what's happening with the various work groups, and including, there's always an update in the monthly Infant and Toddler Connection of Virginia update. And there's also an SSIP page on the state website that has all of the meeting minutes from each of the various work groups. And I know this was a quick little update. So we're going to open it up to questions that you guys may have. And feel free to unmute yourself, or you could put it in chat. So while you guys are thinking and typing, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what's coming up next. We have on next Thursday at 3 o'clock, the fourth of our webinar series, which will be covering reflective supervision. And that will be, Tracy Walters is leading that work group. So we look forward to hearing more about that. I can't see the chat. So are there?
And as of right now, you don't have anything in chat. And I also have not seen like any hand raised or anything.
Okay, thank you, Corey, for monitoring that.
Sure.
So if there aren't any other questions, please feel free. If you know, later in the day or the week or months to come, you think of questions, you could reach out to any one of us, and our emails are highlighted right there. And we will stay on the line.
And I will interrupt you because we did just get a chat. Beth
Okay.
Pruitt is asking, any thoughts on being the author of a Virginia screening tool? I think that's the same thing you might ask Beth. I'm thinking you should be on this, but I'll let Ann answer that.
I guess I'm not quite, let me see if I can pull it up in chat. I'm not quite sure. Any thoughts
on being the author of a Virginia screening tool?
Are you volunteering, Beth? I think you asked this last time, didn't you? Yeah, it's great. But yeah, that's a huge one. And we
Dina
know
says,
that.
I think Beth would be a great lead for this.
Yeah.
Dina's supporting you, Beth.
Very good. Yeah. So I'm not dismissing you, Beth. I'm just kind of speechless. And I'd love to talk more with you about that and what you might have in mind.
That sounds good. Sounds good.
So, all
And
right.
so far, I'm not seeing anything else in chat.
Okay. Well, again, thank you all for joining us today. And again, we'll stay on for a few minutes, and please feel free to reach out, to us at any time. So thank you.